Prepositions can be confusing because there are so many and they are used in so many different contexts. But it is also a very important topic because you use prepositions in almost every sentence. So even if you don't know anything about prepositions, you don't have to worry, because in this video I will explain to you what are prepositions and why do we use them. And we will also take a look at the time prepositions which are used in German A1. And I can assure you that if you watch this video till the end, then you will understand what are prepositions and you will also be able to make sentences with the time prepositions. Remember, German is not difficult. You are good enough and you can do it. So now let's go and learn prepositions. So first of all, we will take a look at what are prepositions so that you understand why we need them. After that, we will take a look at the time prepositions which are used in German A1 level. And then I will give you some examples on how to use time prepositions in sentences. Now, as we are talking about time, so I won't waste any time and we will start with what are prepositions. So prepositions or preposition is a word or group of words showing the relationship between things. Now suppose that you have this image. Now you can describe this image by saying the book is on the table. In this sentence, the word on tells us about the relationship between the book and the table. Similarly, if we have this bag, then we can describe it by saying the bag is under the table. And in this sentence, under is the word which describes the relationship between the bag and the table. And both of these prepositions tell us about the location of one thing with respect to the other. That's why they are called prepositions of location. Now let's take a look at another example. I go to school at 8 a.m. In this sentence, to is a preposition which tells us about the direction in which I am going, and at is a preposition which tells me about the time at which I have to go to school. So these are also types of prepositions which tell us about the time or direction. Similarly, there are other prepositions as well. However, in German A1, we learn the location, time and direction prepositions. And in this lesson, we will take a look at the time prepositions. So what are time prepositions? So time prepositions are words which show the relationship of something with time. And these are used to answer the question of when, or as it is called in German, wann. So in German A1, there are a total of 6 time prepositions that you have to learn. The first one is which means at, and it comes before the time. The next one is which means on, and this comes before a day or date. Then we have in, which means in, and it is used when we are talking about the future. Then we have im, which also means in, but this is used with months or seasons. Then we have von and bis, which means from and till, and this is used with time, day or date. And the last one is ab, which means from this time onwards, and this is also used with time, day or date. Time prepositions is an important concept because you can use these time prepositions in the Sprechen exam to ask questions or give answers. So now let's start with the first preposition, which is So if somebody asks the question, wann kommt der Zug? When does the train come? Then you can answer it by saying der Zug kommt 9 Uhr. The train comes at 9 a.m. And over here you see that we have used before the time. Let's take another example. Wann machst du Mittagspause? When do you take the lunch break? And you can answer it by saying Ich mache Mittagspause 12 Uhr. I take the lunch break at 12 p.m. You can also use in the question. So you can say wie viel Uhr machst du Mittagspause? And this wie viel Uhr means at what time. So this is another way to ask the question. And you can also answer it in an informal way by saying 12 Uhr at 12 p.m. So this was the preposition Now let's take a look at the second preposition, which is which is used with day or date. So suppose we have the question, wann treffen wir uns? When do we meet? And we can answer it by saying wir treffen uns am Freitag. we will meet on Friday. And you see, we have used before the day, which is Freitag or Friday. Now another small piece of information, that where does this come from? So is in fact the combination of an plus dem. So we could have also written the answer as wir treffen uns an dem Freitag. This translates to we will meet on the Friday. However, this variant is not commonly used and it is better that you use And one more point, why do we use them over here? We use them over here because an in this specific case acts as a dative preposition. And because days of the week are masculine, that's why we use the dative article for masculine. We will take a look at these dative prepositions in a later lesson, but I just wanted to tell you this so that you know where the comes from. And it is sufficient when you just know you just remember that it is used with the day or date. Let's take another example. So we have the question, wann hast du den Arzttermin? When do you have the doctor's appointment? And you can answer it by saying, ich habe den Arzttermin am Montag 14 Uhr. I have the doctor's appointment on Monday at 2 p.m. So in this example, you see we have used before the day and we have used before the time. You can also use in the question. So you can say, hast du den Arzttermin am Montag? Do you have the doctor's appointment on Monday? And since this is a Ja-Nein-Frage, so you can answer this by saying, ja, ich habe den Arzttermin am Montag 14 Uhr. Another common question which is asked is, wann ist dein Geburtstag? When is your birthday? And you can answer this by saying, mein Geburtstag ist am 11. Januar. My birthday is on 11th January. Another side note over here, that this 11 followed by the dot means 11th, and it is pronounced as elften and not elf, which just means 11. Similarly, if we have other letters such as second or fourth, then they are also pronounced as zweiten or vierten. And if you take a look at all of these letters, then you see that these are a combination of the number with the ending 10. So this was just a side note for your information. Now let's go to the next preposition, which is in, and this is used with the future. So for example, we have the question, wann gehst du nach Portugal? When do you go to Portugal? Now because this is about the future, you can say, ich gehe nach Portugal in 3 Tagen. I will go to Portugal in 3 days. And this can also be weeks or months or years. So for example, if you are going after 2 weeks, then you can say, ich gehe nach Portugal in 2 Wochen. I will go to Portugal in 2 weeks. So whenever you are talking about the future, then you can use in. Moving on, we go to the next preposition, which is im, and this also means in. However, it is used with months or seasons. So for example, we have the question, wann hast du Urlaub? When do you have holidays? And you can answer it by saying, ich habe Urlaub im August. I have holidays in August. So this can also be September, November, December. With any month you can use im. And similar to what we saw earlier, im is a combination of in plus them, and this also has the same reasoning behind it as we saw for but I think the easier way is just to remember that whenever you have a month or season, then you use im. Now let's take another example with the season. So for example, you have the question, wann gehst du nach Portugal? Then you can say, ich gehe nach Portugal im Sommer. I will go to Portugal in summer. So this is also the future, but since it is a season, that's why we are using im and not in. Now let's take a look at the next preposition, which is von and bis, which means from and till, and it is used with time, day or date. So we have the question, was sind die Eröffnungszeiten? What is the opening time? And you can answer this by saying, die Eröffnungszeiten sind von 9 bis 17 Uhr. The opening times are from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. So you see that von and bis is used whenever you have to tell about a duration of time. You can also use this in the question by saying, von wann bis wann arbeitest du? From when till when do you work? And you can answer this by saying, ich arbeite von Montag bis Freitag von 9 bis 17 Uhr. I work from Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. So you see over here, we have used this with the day as well as with time. Another similar example is, Wie lange arbeitest du heute? How long will you work today? And if you just have to tell until when you will work, then you can say, Ich arbeite heute bis 17 Uhr. I work today till 5 p.m. So in this case, you can just use bis, which means till. And now let's take a look at the last preposition, which is ab, which means from this time onwards. And this is also used with time, day or date. So we have the question, ab wann bist du im Urlaub? From when are you in holidays or going in holidays? You can answer this by saying, Ich bin ab Montag im Urlaub. I am in holidays from Monday or Monday onwards. And if they ask you, Und wann kommst du zurück? And when will you be back? Then you can say, Ich bin ab dem 4. August ab 9 Uhr wieder da. I will be back on 4th of August from 9 a.m. or 9 a.m. onwards. So this is how you can use ab in your sentences. So these were the 6 prepositions that we have in German A1 related to time. If you learn these, then as I said, you can make questions and also give answers related to time. And this will be helpful for you in the exam. And with this, we come to the end of the lesson. Great work! You have learned another important concept of German A1. Now go and practice this so that you can use this in your speaking as well as writing and in the exam. So I hope that this video was helpful for you. As always, if you have any questions or any feedback, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for your time and see you guys in the next video.